So let's start moving these a little bit and getting this done. So we're not here all day. Different kind of shaping. I can stitch it up a little bit tighter here. Roll it up. Get my seam. Pinch my ends down. Here we go. Pretty happy with that. Roll it around my flour. I mean, honestly, if you hit your bulk fermentation correctly, that's 99% probably of the issues that people have with their quote shaping technique. Has nothing to do with shaping, has everything to do with how you actually ferment your dough. The shaping, you'll see that there's a reason why there's 100 different ways you could do this, and they all seem to just turn out pretty reasonably close to each other loaves. Well, that's because those people are fermenting their dough well, and that's what is really making all the difference, not the shaping. So let's roll this guy around. Now, the one thing that shaping will do, and you see this one's a little goofy here, I didn't do a very good job there, of just making it at least even. So that one will probably turn out with a interesting little hump on the side of the loaf, because I'm thinking about talking and not thinking about making an evenly rolled up dough here. But again, for the most part, it's going to be, was it fermented well or not, is going to be the big case. Okay. Fold, fold, get my seam. I have myself a nice little cylinder here. Some people just roll these up and make it easy. Again, some people will just do a clasp and just fold them up together. I, for whatever reason, do this cross hand thing and stitch while it's still in this burrito shape here. And then you can pull it in like this and tuck it in. Roll this up, pop any big bubbles you see. I tend to pinch my ends down like that so they're under. You can roll your dough in this way. Some people also like to, after they shape them, they kind of just set them off to the side and let them relax a little bit and then give them a final stitch. I tend to not do that very much. I just, when it's done, it's done. I throw it in. Maybe something like this, maybe I'll fold it while it's headed in. I'm pinching the edge of the dough. I'm not squeezing the inside of the loaf. I'm just pinching the ends, sealing it up here. Sometimes you get a little big bubble. You want to make sure you get those squared away, and hit it with a reasonable enough amount of rice flour. Okay. All right, so this one kind of gave me a bit of a triangle shape, so I'm gonna fold it up this way, fold it over this way. Maybe give it a stitch here, seal it up here. Kind of makes this football kind of shape here, and then pull it over this way. Pop any of those kind of bubbles on the top. I just pop them now, so I don't have to deal with having big blowout bubbles on top of the loaf. Throw it in here, give her a bath, and she goes. Okay. Can even just go this way. Seal it here. Still got my little burrito shape. Pop the bigger bubbles. Give a tuck here. And then tuck my ends under here. Pull it. Give it some shape. You can just see this is really well fermented dough here. I try to lean towards over fermenting than anything. If you have under fermented dough, it tastes bad. It doesn't taste good, doesn't feel good to eat it, doesn't look good when you're looking at it. All the senses dislike underproof dough. So I tend to go over on mine. This one you can kind of see as I'm playing with it, it's already wanting to go another fold. Great. There you go, bud. You get your extra fold. Do it this way. She's in there. I know some people prefer, and I do sometimes as well, to stitch in the basket. Kind of depends on the dough of whether or not I'm going to do that. But we can do some of that too. So, got my basket over here. Let's get my dough. Okay, so on this one, I won't give it the bath, all right? So I'm just gonna fold this one up. Give this one a light fold this way. Okay, I'm gonna go stitch, stitch, stitch. Okay, roll, 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 roll. Okay. Usually I'll pinch up the ends, even though I'll end up doing it again in the basket. So this one, there's your seam. If I'm doing it this way, I get these little, they're for tea. You know, you can open them up and put flour in them. But you can use them like that to actually douse the inside of here with some rice flour. Set your dough in there. And then, like I said, people like to, and not people, they, royal we all like to at some point, I think, stitch up here. And I think everyone thinks this is gonna give you like the extra special tight dough that's gonna explode. Truth is, it's about your fermentation, but I get it. Everybody has their own way. So there you go, you know. So you see, kind of just, you end up with the same thing. 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. Kind of tends to be whatever's easier for you personally. Then that is 100% the correct way you should be shaping, and nobody can tell you otherwise, so just do it. Let's see. This one I won't even stitch. How about that? I'm just gonna roll this guy up nice and tight. There we go. Pinch up the ends here. Grab a basket, knock out the old rice flour. Maybe this one I'll just hit with a little bit this way. Get the sides a little bit. Drop her in. Hit the stitch. Close up those little dough butts so they look nicer. You can leave them open. Kind of has more of like that rustic look, I guess. But I just prefer to make them as kind of finished looking as possible. There we go. And as I say that, you know, I'll just change my mind and do it however I want the next time, because it's bread, not heart surgery, and they will very closely turn out the same, as I've said over and over again, regardless of how you actually do this. What's another way? We can fold up from the bottom here. Get rid of that extra flour. Stretch it out. Fold it over. Here's your classic envelope style shaping, right? Get this shaped up. Pop those big bubbles. Stitch, 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 stitch. Roll her up. There you go. Get rid of that bubble. Pinch up our ends there. That's looking pretty nice. This one will just roll around. Now, I like the way this dough reacted to that envelope shaping, so why not do it again? Okay. Go envelope again. Fold the end over, probably a little far. Ooh, pop that. There you go. Little far. Doesn't matter. Let's just make sure we're building some structure in there, but depending on how you did that fermentation, it's the key. So in the bath she goes. Seam side up, and we're done there.